وبالله ومن الله.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be on the noblest of the prophets, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, his companions, and all those who follow him righteousness to the day of reckoning. And I take this opportunity to welcome you to another edition of Ramadan in 10 minutes on RAANOD TV. Ramadan in 10 minutes is supported by Fadi's Beauty Shop. Fadi's Beauty Shop deals in cosmetics and provides skincare service, beauty and personal care. They are located at Okainshi in Accra, and they can be reached on 0242 919443. Before we look at which companion we want to talk about in today's episode, the Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said something. In previous editions, I have quoted part of it. The Prophet said, "Man sama Ramadana imanan wa iktisaban, ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min zambi. Wa ma kana Ramadana imanan wa iktisaban, ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min zambi. Wa man kama laylatul qadr imanan wa iktisaban, ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min zambi." So the Prophet said three things. Whoever fasts in the month of Ramadan with faith and expecting reward from Allah, Allah will forgive him all his previous sins. وَمَنْ كَامَ رَمَضَانَ إِيمَانًا وَإِكْتِسَابًا غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ. Whoever keeps vigil during Ramadan, expecting with faith and expecting reward from Allah, Allah forgives him all his sins. وَمَنْ كَامَ لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ إِيمَانًا وَإِكْتِسَابًا غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ. And whoever keeps vigil in search of Laylatul Qadr, Allah forgives him all his previous sins if he did that with faith and expecting reward from Allah. So as we are in the last 10 days of the month of Ramadan, we pray that Allah will be compassionate towards us and bless us with Laylatul Qadr. Today we want to talk about another companion by name Khubayb Ibn Adi Ibn Malik Al-Ausi Al-Ansari. The name is just Khubayb radiallahu anhu. And if you talk about Khubayb, remember there was a time we spoke about one of the companions, Habab. The name Khubayb means like little Habab. And you know what Habab suffered. We have done that in previous editions. And today we want to look at another person who was known as Khubayb ibn Adi ibn Malik. He belongs to the Aus tribe. That is why they add Al-Aus to his name. And because he was part of the Ansar, those who accepted Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and assisted the Muslims, that is why they add Al-Ansari to his name. He was one of the 313 people who took part in the Battle of Badr. He was a bold warrior and a daring fighter. He killed Al-Haris ibn Amr ibn Naufal in the Battle of Badr. It was after the battle, when the polytheists, the pagan worshippers, the idolaters had returned home, that the sons of Al-Haris learned that it was Khubayb ibn Adi who killed their father. So from that time, they nursed the ambition that they wanted to meet Khubayb and kill him. So there was a time Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to know the secret plans of the Quraysh, what they were up to, what they were planning. and whether they were making any preparations for a new battle. So he needed to send some people. This is what is known in Islam as the expedition of Araj. So he sent 10 people who should go and spy on the Quraysh, the people of Quraysh, and find out what they were doing. Khubayb was one of these 10 people, but the team was led by Asim ibn Thabit. During the expedition of Araji, which occurred in the 4th year of the Hijrah after the Battle of Uhud, they proceeded until they reached a place called Hada. When news reached the Banu Lihiyan people that there were people from Medina who had come to spy on them, so they also sent about 200 archers to pursue them. But how did they trace the tracks of these people who had come from Medina? You see, that is why people say war is strategy. When they were coming, they carried along some dates, and when they ate the date, they left some on the way. So that was what the enemies used to trace them until they found where they were. When they found them, then the Muslims climbed to a high location, and the infidels, numbering about 200 archers, encircled them. When they encircled them, they told them that they should calm down, that they were not going to harm them, and they were going to provide them with protection. Then the leader of the team, by name Asim bin Thabit radiallahu anhu, he said, I swear by Allah that we will not come down to be under the protection of infidels. So this infuriated the infidels, who started throwing their arrows at them, and they martyred Asim and 6 others out of the 10. So Asim, before he died, made a supplication which was like similar to what Khubayb radiallahu anhu also did. He said, "Oh Allah, convey my salutations to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam know what has befallen us." You know the story about Kunut. So the Prophet did Kunut for a while and then he stopped, but that is not what we are talking about. Maybe some other time when we are talking about this particular episode, this particular expedition and the things it brought up, we may talk about that. So when Asim bin Thabit radiallahu anhu and the 6 others radiallahu anhum were killed, then they still persuaded Khubayb and the 2 others to calm down and that they were not going to harm them. As soon as they came down, then they captured them like captives and wanted to tie them. Then the 3rd person said, this was what Asim bin Thabit saw. You have betrayed us. This was not what you told us. So he started resisting and they killed him. And they left Khubayb and then Ibn Dathina. So Khubayb and Ibn Dathina were taken to Makkah and they were sold out. It was the sons of Al-Harith ibn Amir ibn Naufal ibn Abdul Manaf who bought Khubayb because they knew it was Khubayb who had killed their father, and they decided to take revenge. So whilst they had even kept him in prison preparing to kill Khubayb, the daughter of Al-Harith said she noticed something with Khubayb. He was eating grapes that were not in Makkah, and he knew that this was a godly person. So there was an occasion he requested for blade for something, and after she had given the blade to her adopted son to be given to Khubayb. Then she said, what if he harmed the baby with the blade? Then Khubayb said, do you think I am that wicked to harm this little child? He never did any of that. When it was time for them to kill him, he requested to be given the opportunity to perform 2 rakas. After he had performed the 2 rakas, he said he would have requested for another time again to pray, but they would think he feared death, so they should go ahead. Then he said, oh Allah, as there is no one here to convey my salutations to Muhammad, convey my salutations to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And indeed, we are told Jibril alayhi salam conveyed this salutation to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he made another supplication. Oh Allah, do not leave one of these people. Destroy all these people. And indeed, after the incident, the things that started befalling them, they realized that Allah had listened to his supplication. And indeed, we are told that they could not even find where Khubayb was buried. That in itself is another mystery. But this is how far time will permit us to come your way with this edition of Ramadan in 10 minutes, which was supported by Fadi's Beauty Shop. Fadi's Beauty Shop deals in cosmetics and provides skincare service, beauty and personal care. They are located at Okanshi in Accra, and they can be reached on 0242 919443. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.